What's up, guys? Welcome to Do Whiskey. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around at the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. Today, we've got two whiskeys, in fact, so it's a side-by-side. I've got the Springbank 10 and I've got the Kilkerran 12. I'll be looking at both. I'll be comparing them, so it should be a fun one. Stick around. Don't you hate it when people online brag about things that you can't get your hands on? Me too. So it's Springbank 10 against Kilkerran 12 today. This should be a very interesting side-by-side. These are both Campbeltown whiskeys. They're both brands under the Springbank umbrella. Springbank also owns Glengyle, which is where Kilkerran is made, if you didn't know. Both of these brands are worshipped by enthusiasts, bloggers, vloggers, YouTubers, all those people, my people. And I think that's probably a lot of the reason why these whiskeys have become so hard to find and they're so overpriced on secondary markets. Personally, though, I blame the whiskey Illuminati. Anyway, I have talked about these whiskeys in the past. I have reviewed both before, but those reviews are from a while back, and it's worth noting that both of these whiskeys have changed over time. How have they changed? Well, I will tell you that later. That's a showbiz hook. Now, in the past, I have talked a lot about how Kilkerran is an excellent whiskey, and I think it's a good substitute for Springbank 10. Now, they're not the same whiskeys. They're similar, but they're different. But in terms of quality and in terms of vibe, they kind of scratch the same itch. That itch, of course, being the Campbeltown itch, which is something a lot of us have. It's not an STD. We enthusiasts just love our Campbeltown whiskeys. They're farmy, they're earthy, they're dirty, they're salty, they're intense. You guys know what I mean. So today we're going to find out which one is better, and there's nothing objective about it. This will just be my opinion, of course. For the record, my Springbank is from July 19th, 2023, and my Kilkerran is from January 19th, 2023, so separated by about 7 months, both from last year. Should be a really interesting one, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our side-by-side. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that would be greatly appreciated. As I'm sure you guys already know, these ones are always craft presented. So we got 46%, we got non-chill filtered, we got natural color. For presentation, I don't love either of these. I guess the Springbank has a little bit more color, so better maybe. And I know they're like no frills and humble and bare bones and all that, and I can respect that, but I guess I'm just a peacock and I like a little bit more flash or design. They're not bad though. I'll give them both 2.5 out of 5. These ones both say non-chill filtered and no color added in our little blurbs on the back of the bottle. So all the information that we need is there. And again, no frills. A lot of people love that about it. I think it's fine. I think we're good. On the nose of the Springbank 10, we get some very gentle peat. We get barley, brown sugar, there's caramel, there's butterscotch, there's toffee. There's some sherry notes in here like red fruits, raisins, sultanas. There's apricot jam, there's some berry jam in here, and there's some red apples. On the palate finish, we get smoke and some floral honey. There's some raisins, there's some dates, there's some Christmas cake. We get brown sugar, we get barley sugar. There's toffee, there's pudding, there's maple flavored oatmeal, maple cinnamon flavored oatmeal. He said Canadianly. This is rich, sweet, and peppery with a beautiful farmy peat, medium finish. For the Kilkerran, on the nose, I get honey, I get salt, there's some earth, there's vanilla, there's custard, we get a lot of cereal in here. I get barley, pie crust, hay, shortbread, fruit pudding. There's yellow plums in here like Mirabelle plums, there's ginger, bit of grassiness, really nice. Our palate and finish is full and mouth coating. Again, we're greeted with those Mirabelle plums, those yellow plums. I get soft smoke in here. I get some orchard fruit, namely pears and apricots. There's lots of barley and oats and cereal type notes. The smoke that we get here, the peatiness that we get in here is very earthy and very salty. It's a medium finish. So of course these are different whiskeys, but our two distilleries are what, like 50 meters apart? So we can see a lot of elements that tie these two whiskeys together. So they might not be siblings, but they're cousins. I mean, we literally call Springbank and Kilkerran sister distilleries. So no matter the case, they'll see each other at Christmas. On the nose, neither of these give us too much in the way of smoke. Our Springbank is going to be sweeter though. We get more like honeys and caramels and toffees. It's also more coastal. The Kilkerran gives us more in the way of like orchard fruits, grains, cereals, and pastry type notes. And pretty much all of that stays true on the palate and finish. On top of that, I would add that the Springbank here gives us more of a sherry cask influence, and our Kilkerran goes more earthy and gingery. So our flavors are different, but they both give us very strong Campbeltown vibes. So they're similar, but they're different. They're both beautiful whiskeys. And the big question is there one that I prefer? In the past, I've often said that Springbank, or rather Kilkerran, is every bit as good as Springbank, if not better. Now, do I think that's true here? No, I still prefer the Springbank. To be fair, I only prefer the Springbank very slightly by a very small margin, but I do think that that proves that at the end of the day, I'm completely full of nonsense and I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's kind of funny because for someone who always talks about how I'm very sensitive to sweetness, you'd think I'd go for the less sweet option. The Kilkerran is less sweet, it's spicier, it's even a little bit more challenging, and on paper, that should be my go-to. But in my defense, I'm only sensitive to sweetness when it's too much. Our Springbank 10 here is far from being overly sweet or cloying. I think it strikes the perfect balance. I find it more rounded and accessible than the Kilkerran, which I think is funny because in my mind, it was always the other way around, with the Kilkerran being slightly more accessible than the Springbank. But at least as far as these batches are concerned, that honor goes to Springbank. And I think batches are a big factor here. Both of these whiskeys have changed quite a bit since I last looked at them. I am going off of memory, but the Springbank 10, much sweeter, much rounder, much more accessible than it used to be. And I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like hearing it, but that's my takeaway, at least from this batch. As for the Kilkerran 12, again going off of memory, but my last batch leaned more into vanilla and sweetness. This one, the vanilla, the sweetness, they're both toned down, and we get more earthiness and more cereal notes coming forward. Again, both excellent whiskeys though. I fully recommend both. And for score, I'm going to land on 88 for the Kilkerran and 89 for the Springbank. Again, the Springbank just does a little bit more for me. It's richer, it's deeper, there's more smoke in it, there's more sherry notes in it, it's farmier, and just on the whole, it's got more presence. That said, I definitely do appreciate the new direction for Kilkerran, at least it's a new direction for me, where we're getting a lot more like almost organic tasting, very natural tasting flavors, where there's lots of cereals, there's ginger, there's earthiness in there. Really enjoy that too. Not to mention the shortbread notes, the pie crust notes, the restrained sweetness. It's fantastic. Both of these are fantastic, and I know neither of them are particularly easier to find. You're probably going to have an easier time finding the Kilkerran than the Springbank, but neither are easy these days, and a lot of shops are already sold out. Tough to find online. I know how it is, but if you can find either, of course, highly recommended. Finally, guys, before we move on to value, I just want to give a quick thank you to all my patrons and my channel members. Thank you very much for all your support. And if you want to help out the channel, if you want to keep it financially sustainable and independent, there are a number of ways that you can help. I have Patreon and PayPal links down below. Anything and everything helps. And again, thank you so much for all of you who are supporting me. Now let's talk value. So for value, it's tough because these are Springbank products. So if you can find them for MSRP, of course, buy them. They're worth every penny. If you're asked to pay more, hopefully it's not too much more. And of course, if it is more, you decide how much more is worth it. After all, you are the market. Personally, I strongly suggest avoiding ridiculously overpriced Springbanks. I don't think that does anyone any favors, but of course, I'll leave it up to you. They are fantastic whiskeys and you can decide what they're worth to you. Don't overpay. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I said earlier, I've got PayPal and Patreon down below if you want to help support the channel. Of course, I want to hear from you guys. Have you tried our Springbank 10? Have you tried the Kilkerran 12? Have you done the side-by-side? What were your thoughts on that? Let me know all of that down below. Finally, down below, you can also let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.